What's up everybody, and welcome back. I have another shonen for you. Just giving you these shonens because I know I need to, mix it up a little bit, but don't worry, and don't get too excited, because we're going back to romance with the next recommendation. I've just had this on my list recommendations for way too long, so I kinda felt like I should do it before it gets any longer. Today I'm recommending the middle-aged newbie adventurer trained to the brink of death by the strongest party became unbeatable. And that's honestly exactly what this is. As far as titles telling you everything you need to know about a manga before you even start reading it, this is one that just lays it all out for you. But I wanted to recommend this not just because I love it, but because I didn't want it to get too far, like I said. Because right now it has 44 chapters, and it's an action, adventure, comedy, drama, fantasy shonen being written by Ogino Ken T and Kishiba Kiraku. It's easily one of my favorite fantasy shonen that I'm currently reading, mostly because of how different it feels. So the story is about Rick. Yes, his name is just Rick, and I love that because it makes it easy for me because, man, some of these names, they're not easy. But Rick is 32, but he's always wanted to be an adventurer. But in this world, it's best to become an adventurer when you're still as young as possible, because as you get older, the ability to increase your magic becomes less and less, until it basically becomes impossible to. Sure, it will increase a little, but it becomes a lot harder, and if you're over 30, I mean, you already know. So when Rick was young though, if I remember correctly, he was too afraid at the time to try and be an adventurer because he wasn't exceptional to begin with. And the chance of dying is obviously pretty high. Well, after years of working at the Adventurers Guild, but never as an adventurer, he decides to quit one day and pursue finally becoming an adventurer. But first, he has to train. And who else to be trained by than the best adventurer team, Orichalcum Fist, led by the orc leader Blaustone. Rick is literally trained to death for 2 years, and I mean literally. Rick dies just about every day for 2 years during training under the members of Orichalcum Fist, Blaustone, Lynette the Dark Elf, which that should be enough for you to want to read this, Mizette the Elf, he's just a regular elf, I'm pretty sure he's an elf, he's got elf ears, and Alicette the Vampire. After his training, Rick shows back up to take the adventurer exam to become an adventurer to join Orichalcum Fist on their ultimate mission, to find, I think, 6 gem things so that they can use them to basically fight a space monster. I know that may sound silly, but I don't remember the name or description that would make it sound better. It's basically a space monster thing, if I remember correctly. And the only other recurring character who isn't a member of the team is Angelica, who's a knight that Rick fights in the beginning that he accidentally scars almost for life because of his horrifying strength. She later kind of becomes his disciple and trains under him for a little. Not very long, but she trains under him in Orichalcum Fist for a little bit. But she never really joins the team, but she's a regular, so she has to be mentioned because she may also be a potential love interest in the future. I don't really think they're gonna go that route, but who knows, she's still there. But I kind of doubt it though, because to Rick she's a kid, but I think she's 18 to 20-ish, so at least it's legal. But when Rick first fights her, he doesn't know how strong he is, and that's one of the first things that he moves away from gladly. And I just have to mention that because I know for me, I get annoyed when a character is freakishly strong but doesn't recognize it and then thinks everyone else is or should be as strong as the main character and they're not. And this manga starts out like that, but it moves away from it rather quickly. There are some chapters that you might just have to get through, at least in the beginning, with that kind of mentality, but gladly, it's not a lot. It also moves away from him being afraid to fight, but I think that was PTSD from dying multiple times every day for 2 years, so we could let that one slide. And honestly, this is one of the only adventure manga that I feel lives up to the tag of adventure, because the whole story follows this big adventure for these gems, and everything that they do is to get closer to collecting them. Most things tagged with adventure though, to me, have adventures, but they're more kind of character focused on small one-off stuff, kind of arc adventures. This is character focused as well, but each orb and gem thing they go after isn't really its own adventure, but it also is. But it's just what they need to do to get the gem to continue the main adventure, instead of most of the time you see an adventure thing where they hop from adventure to adventure. They're still on the same adventure, but each gem collection is its own mini adventure. What I mean by that is this. To get one of the gems, they have to participate in a fighting tournament, because the gem is used as decoration in the championship belt. Could they have just taken the gem straight out of the belt through sheer power? Easily. But that also would have started a war, because the tournament is held by a different country, and Rick, being the reasonable man he is, suggested that they don't do that. So they compete in it instead. But even though they compete in the tournament, it never feels like a side quest. It just feels like what needs to be done to progress the main mission forward. And that's one of the things that I love about this story, is that it's, at least so far, always moving toward the ultimate objective without it ever feeling lost or forgotten. The objective of every chapter is still to get closer to getting the next gem. The art style may take some time getting used to, but I really like it. All around, I think it's a fantastic shonen with the most mature MC that I've seen in a shonen manga. And actually, now that I say that, I just remembered another very mature MC from a manga I have to recommend. So if you want more recommendations, check out the other Why You Should videos in the playlist, and check out the podcast. Links in the description box. As always, like and subscribe for more recommendations, and leave some of your own. Other than that, I'll see you in the next one with another very mature MC.